Hello, hi. This is KWVA Eugene, and this is your DJ Snowflower, and this is ICSP radio show. ICSP stands for Stacy.
International Cultural Service Program.
So we are part of the program. It's a international scholarship program. We have how many? Like probably 30 students. Probably 30 students from all over the world, and they offer us scholarship, and we're honored to be here. And we are kind of like our own cultural ambassadors, and we love being an ICS peer. So today I have Stacy, and you actually came last year to the radio show, huh?
Last term.
Yeah, last term. Yeah. So, but we would like you to still introduce yourself and where you're from and what you're studying at the University of Oregon.
Yeah, sure. So last time I said that I'm a journalism student. Well, this time,
if they remember,
Yeah. But this time I am an advertising student. I switched. But yeah, I'm from Russia. You can't really tell. I don't have much of an accent. My full name is Anastasia,
but you can mimic Russian accent, can you?
Oh yeah, I can.
Oh, okay.
This is the Russian accent.
Ooh, yeah.
No, I don't. It actually takes some, like focusing to do a Russian accent.
Yeah, last week we had an event, World Poetry Night, at the Night Library Browsing Room, and we had a Russian MC, and she was so energetic with her accent and stuff. We had a good time. So welcome, Stacy. I always say Casey. I don't know why. I don't think
it's okay.
I don't think no one has a name Casey. So why did you change your major? What made you?
So originally I was all in for Super J, and Super J is what we call journalism. It's kind of, it's print and electronic and everything, so we just say Super J.
Super J.
And then I added advertising as my double major. And it's still that way on my degree audit, but probably by the end of this term I'm gonna get rid of my Super J major. And I'm doing a multimedia minor already, which kind of will help me with all the production, all that stuff. So basically the only reason I really wanted a Super J major is to get all the production skills. So video, photo, all that fun stuff. And advertising, so first of all, it all kind of started with me talking to people who are in advertising, and they're all super excited and they're all really into it. And I thought, wow, okay, it must be fun, I guess, to be in advertising. And then I think Deb Morrison is our professor, one of the advertising professors. She came to our Gateway class. Gateway is like the entry-level journalism class, to speak, and she said, hey, I'm not trying to change your mind, but just take a look at advertising. It's pretty fun. So, and the way she presented it, and I thought, wow, this is, it's kind of a big deal to produce content that will influence people, And so, and then I'm taking this class right now.
That's a clicking moment, you just okay, yeah.
It's a turning point, yeah. And so and I mean, that there's some ads out there that you watch and you just think, my mind is blown, this is perfect. Because most of advertising, it's not really that good. It's offensive or rude or wasteful, whatever. So, and that's why a lot of people, especially in the J school, they kind of look at advertising as the dark side. Yeah, because,
I see.
Journalism itself is
it's definitely really hard to do, because it's a really thin line, also.
Oh yeah, ethically and stuff. Yeah. Yeah,
so
for sure. And there are lots of issues with it. Yeah. And so I don't know. I just kind of.
I'm glad it takes some people 4 or 5 years. Still, now I'm studying linguistics, and this is my junior year, and why did I choose linguistics?
Yeah. Well, the thing is, I wasn't exactly sure. I just thought that would be fun. And then I put advertising as my major, and I took. You have to have this class on your audit to take this class. It's called Creative Strat or Creative Strategist. It's J342. I really recommend everyone to take it, regardless if they're Super J or not, because it will really kind of help you figure it out if you want if you want advertising or not.
I see.
Because it's very time consuming. You work in a team, because most of advertising work is done in a collaborative environment, which is another reason why I liked it. And it kind of tests your creativity and your, I guess, time management, really everything. And it's just a really, really fun class. Yeah.
So I'm just curious, like, what creativity means to you as a journalism major, or as an advertising major, or just as a
Just in general.
individual? Yeah. What does that mean to you?
Well, okay. As an advertising major, I'm not yet sure. Maybe I'll come up with it later, what it means. But just in general, creativity is kind of synonymous with courage, in a way. Because to be creative, you have to either break some walls or get over some stereotypes. Yeah. So, and you have to be kind of brave about certain decisions and bold. Because if you're just kind of staying in your comfort zone and you're doing the same thing everyone else does and not kind of standing out, then you're not really being, you are creative, but in a certain way, but not really groundbreaking creative. I don't know if that makes any sense. But yeah, creativity, it's also kind of, it's something you can develop. Although I do say that some people are like more creative than others, because they it's a different mindset, you like numbers or something like that. But if you do, if you get inspired, basically inspiration sparks creativity.
For you, what's kind of the biggest motivation behind creativity? Is like, do you see like somewhere it needs to be changed, or do you see like a problem, or it was more, maybe you might have like, I don't know, personal stories, how you came to be interested in this field? Because I know you do a lot, like you have your own personal blog where you have like
a YouTube channel.
Yeah, the YouTube channel, and I saw a lot of followers. So
I don't know why people follow me, honestly.
Well, yeah, they know what like people can do good at. So
so I guess I've always kind of considered myself a creative person, just because I like coming up with new things, new concepts, new ideas, just kind of exploring the world and design and just all the little things in it. But my motivation, so this is kind of, I don't know if I said that in the last time I was here.
It was a long time ago, so I won't hear it again.
So I have something called synesthesia. I don't think I described that. Yeah, so
I don't think so.
Yeah, so it's a condition. It's not really like I'm not dying or anything, and it's not like harmful in a way. So everyone has it when they're toddlers, but then only 3% of people apparently in the world keep it, which is involuntarily, like you can't say, oh, I'm keeping my synesthesia or whatever. So anyways, synesthesia is when there are different types of it, but mine is called chromesthesia. It's when you listen to music and you see colors, but you don't see them like with your eyes. It's kind of like with your inner eye. So it's like you imagine them, but it's involuntary. Like I don't ask for colors, I just think of them. So that's usually my inspiration / motivation to do stuff. So when I needed to do a design, I listen to music and colors kind of come to me.
That even sounds like almost superpower to me.
Yeah, well, synesthesia comes from a Greek word, which means like mixing of feelings or something like that. So basically, it's the ability of brain to perceive these sensations in two ways. With two organs. So it's like your eyes and ears, like your music.
But can you, like, let's say if it's like distracting, and can you shut it down?
Yeah, I can sometimes. Sometimes it can be just, like I don't listen to music when I do homework, for example.
Okay.
Yeah, because it gets a little bit, or I listen kind of to it on a very low level. But most of my homework now that I'm in advertising is design and all the creative things. So it actually does help me. But yeah, I get super inspired by music. It's kind of a big part.
Wow, I wish I had that too.
Also, just in general, just problems. So advertising is problem solving too. So for everyone, for people, because it can nonprofit advertising, it could be for brands, for anything.
Yeah.
So sometimes if I see something that's kind of wrong that I wish I could change, that kind of also motivates me to do things. Like why I came to Oregon and study in the J school is because I didn't like the way Russia was portrayed in the world, for example, as always one-sided, like bad guys,
Yeah.
So I thought, you know what, I have to change this. So that's how I started my YouTube channels, in a way that's, I guess that's partially creative, partially advertising, partially journalism. It's kind of a mix. It's really, the line is getting blurred these days.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like that's really the beauty.
Oh yeah,
I feel
for
like,
sure.
Yeah, if you are just one
You
sided,
can't do one. Yeah. You
Yeah.
cannot just go into one field and continue with it. Yeah. Especially like you have to be like multifaceted. Yeah.
Okay, good. You brought some music, so we will listen to one of your music, and we will come back and talk about
some Russian music.
Russian music. So stay tuned, and we do also have a request line or a call line. That's 541-346-0645. So if you're interested in talking to
any burning questions.
Yeah, burning questions to the Russian lady or the Tibetan lady here. Okay, so stay tuned. Aha, welcome back. Can you introduce the first two songs? We forgot to introduce the first song also.
Yeah.
Can't say in Russian.
So the first one was called, it's by an artist called Pятница, and it's called Dikidal. And Pятница in Russian means Friday, so I thought we'll start with that one because, hey, it's Friday, so. But it's, I'm not really sure.
In case you didn't know, it's a Friday. Yay! We made it through the midterm week.
Oh, yeah, I have midterms next week, yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, I don't really know what the message of the song is exactly. It's kind of about being a nice person. But the second one that just played, I'm not really a fan, I just want to point it out, I'm not really a fan of music like that necessarily. It's okay. But I just thought I would put like all kinds of Russian music. So,
what kind of music do you like? Like
Oh.
enjoy or listening or singing or?
I listen to really all kinds of music. It's just, I really like good lyrics. And I also like kind of electronic, like, I don't know if you've heard of Odessa. They have really nice music,
Yeah, see, when I listen, I don't really listen to the lyrics. Because I listen to all, like, from different countries, or, like, sometimes I don't really understand. So it's just like, okay.
This song was not, the lyrics were not, I mean, it all rhymes and, you know, it sounds cool. So, ya хочу means I want. So it's about this girl and she goes, like, I want an iPhone, I want this, I want that, and how...
Is it kind of like a sarcastic...
It's sarcastic, but at the same time, it kind of promotes this like consumerist culture. It's like, oh man, like slow down. And she kind of talks about, you know, having like a sugar daddy or something. And it's like, you know what? I'm just gonna like not listen to these lyrics.
This song pretty new. When is?
Oh yeah, it's pretty new. I'm just trying to keep up with the Russian, you know, music scene. I guess I don't, like I said, I don't really listen to Russian music that much, but I think I just Googled like popular Russian songs 2016, and you know, and that came up, and I was like, all right, and it had like a couple million views on YouTube, so I figured, all right, I guess this is popular now, because I haven't been there since last, or this September actually, and I'm going back in September as well.
So how long it has been you away from home?
I'm just like under a year. I usually come back every summer, but still, like when you're there just for that short time, you're kind of like, whoa, this is too much to handle right now. There's a lot of things changed.
Do you experience any cultural shock?
Yeah, backwards
when you go
culture.
home? Yeah, what, I don't know what's it called.
Definitely, yeah. It's or a reverse culture.
Yeah,
shock.
reverse cultural shock.
I do. It's just, it's kind of the whole idea of, because I don't get to talk to my friends often because of the time zone difference. So whenever I come back, they have like all these other things that they're doing, and I never heard about them. I'm like, oh, I just feel kind of left out, you know?
I see.
Or if they build something new, because they're constantly building, you know, the city, and so I walk around and like, I have never seen this before. Like, what is this? Or, you know, some kind of new slang, because slang is a big part of the Russian culture. So a new word that people say, and I'm like, I don't know where that came from and what it means. It is always so awkward. So, sorry, just little things like that.
I think we now, as international students on campus, we do have this kind of dual identity, because when I go home, people ask me like, oh, do Americans eat a lot of like burgers? And I was like, no, they eat healthy. And I'm trying to defend on, like, when I'm back home, I try to defend from this side. When I'm here, I try to defend for my community back home. So it's like, whoa, where do I belong?
There's this little like poem that I tweeted a couple days ago. By the way, I'm shamelessly plugging myself here. Stacy from Russia is my Twitter, so I always tweet some fun stuff, so you should follow me. Anyways, Twitter. So there's this poetress from Nigeria, and she writes interesting kind of. They don't really rhyme, and they're really short little poems, and she puts them on her Twitter. And this one was called, I think it was called Diaspora Blues, and
Ducks for Blues?
No, Diaspora.
Oh, Diaspora.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it said, so here you are, too foreign for home, too foreign for here, never enough for both.
I need to put that on.
Yeah, it's like a tattoo, like forever on your. Because it's honestly like if you, I mean, it's different when you're just an exchange student. You go here for 1 year and then you come back. You kind of get over it. But if you spend more than 4 years here, or if you're here for 5, like as a international student, it's forever with you, like the dual identity. So
yeah, I think in the future people will probably this phenomenon will get more.
Oh yeah, as people travel more, and it's still considered super exciting in Russia. I mean, it is exciting, but in Russia, when you say like, oh, I study abroad, like I'm just gonna leave and go and live in America and study now. It's people think you're crazy. Like, what are you doing? Like, you're leaving everything.
I see.
Yeah. Well, I think it
and
might
you're
be.
you're from a town, right? You said it's a big town.
Yeah, it's about 2 million people.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Wow, it's a city then. Wow. Okay. Yeah, because I'm from a tiny village and no one has ever even traveled outside of their village bubble for like long years.
Oh, same in Russia. I mean, even in this big city, and you would think people travel, but they might go, to vacation. Maybe like Thailand is kind of a popular spot among Russians, or Turkey, maybe Moscow. So people go to the mountains, to hike around our province and stuff. But when it comes to leaving, not for vacation and not for like fun exploring, but for actually like, oh, I'm gonna go there for a year. That's like, whoa, no, like that's like too scary. Like I'll have to rethink that. So that was also another reason why I kind of wanted to go here, because it's like, why not? Why not just travel and just do it? So yeah.
So I see you have a online portfolio. And you make a lot of fun stuff. Like I mean, I have to do a class poster for one of my classes, and I'm freaking out. I've never done a class poster. What do I do? So for me, I don't know. Creativity is. I mean, I can get creative when I'm cooking. I never ever use the recipe, and I can come up with something that every time would be different.
Yeah, so that's creativity too. It's in different
but I can
areas.
Make something like this.
Yeah, I think you kind of train yourself too. There's like a routine that you sort of do. You have to basically, and I'm definitely not there yet. I'm still kind of in that middle stage, but you have to hit a lot of brick walls. You have to fail a lot, and then you know kind of how your creative process works, how you can get to something that you like. Because usually with my work, like I would do something and then I would hate it. I would just hate a design of something that I did. Same when I went to art school and I would make a painting or something. And then I would look at it and I would just say, this sucks. This is not good at all. So yeah, it's one of those little things that.
So is it common for like I'm not sure if there's a gender difference in Russia. Like, is it common for girls to learn like designing or pursuing career in?
So the gender kind of line is getting blurred. More. But when I was growing up, it was pretty sexist in a way. I don't approve of. It was always like, oh yeah, guys are gonna go play football and and girls are gonna draw whatever, do music or something like that. But I mean, there are definitely guys who are photographers out there, and they're great. And I mean, and it's not like I'm being condescending or anything to guys. It's just, I mean, here on campus they're great.
Yeah.
A lot of my friends are guys and they're photographers or designers and they're amazing. But in Russia, it's getting better. There are more guys who are designers, and I follow a lot of people like on Instagram and look at their portfolios. But I would say when I was in art school, there was only one guy in our group who did like painting and graphic design, and the rest were girls. So it kind of depends also on your parents, because it might be old school.
Were your parents like fine with you studying?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
I mean, no, I'm being sarcastic. It was an interesting conversation. So I'm still kind of talking to my parents about it too, because advertising in Russia is considered kind of a low profession. And honestly here, it depends where you go in America too, but I feel like when you say, oh, I'm an advertising student, they're like, oh, I see, So, because it's considered not a real thing, you know,
I
as
see.
if you're just trying to sell people something when it's not about that at all.
I think they definitely have that kind of
Perception,
presupposition of like advertising as like, you know,
Yeah, like,
trying to make benefit of like other.
yeah, like a capitalist kind of notion.
Yeah.
And so when I was talking to my parents, I said, hey, I'm most likely switching completely to advertising. I don't want to do both because I'll be torn apart, you know, between these things. And I definitely don't just want to do journalism because I really don't care that much about reporting. It's fun. Like, I like investigative journalism. And it's cool to look into things. I like reading, like, New York Times and stuff. But it's just not something I would want to do forever. And one of my fears is ending up with a job that I hate for the rest of my life. So not happening.
Yeah.
So I'm still kind of trying to explain that because, again, it's a different cultural... It's a different thing in their brain because they didn't grow up here, so they perceive it as, oh, I always saw advertising as this, but, you know, it's different here. It's not the same in Russia, you know, and you have to be more open-minded about it, I guess. So, yeah.
And kind of going back to your earlier point about, like, you were here because, like, how some of the kind of the stereotypical view of Russian is portrayed here. Like, do you mind sharing one or two experiences, like where you experience kind of like stereotypes, or just like how would you respond? Because we as ambassadors, we go to presentations a lot, and some of the questions can be pretty surprising. I mean, they probably don't really mean in a rude way, but
for sure.
Sometimes it's like, oh wow, okay. It's kind of shocking and surprising.
Yeah, so this was, and I was an exchange student in Indiana, my junior year of high school. Did not choose Indiana, don't judge me. But it used to be, I used to get a little passive aggressive with them about it. Kind of, you know, like, whoa, like you don't know any, or you didn't take time to learn about this. But it's really not their fault at all because once I took a U.S. history class in there, and it's really, the way Russia, I mean, it's studied in there. The first time it comes up. Huh?
In textbooks.
Oh yeah, I mean, it doesn't really come up until the Cold War. And there's so much history of Russia before that you have to understand when you go into the Cold War situation. And I mean, Russia was also in World War II, which is kind of gotta give us a little bit of credit. So, you know, I used to kind of be a little mad about it, but I would just kind of take a deep breath and say, okay, here it goes. This is what we are. We're not, you know, we're not just a huge village with like snow and, you know, not in bears and vodka. 'Cause it's usually kind of perceived as that, or communism. We haven't been communist since 1991, so it's been a while. I was born into Russia, not USSR. So
I see.
Yeah, and I mean, it's getting better. There's still a lot of negative information online about like Putin. And it's a lot of times, and it's the same in Russia, I have to say about the U.S., when governments and their actions, they get mixed with the people.
Yeah.
And then other people from other countries, they see the whole country as the same as what the government does. When it's sometimes the people are like, hey, this is not what we are at all, we don't want this.
Yeah.
You know, and same goes, I mean, it goes for every culture. So, and Russians see America as, you know, kind of greedy, like capitalist, kind of, I don't know, I guess they're basing it off of, I don't know how rich Hillary Clinton is or something, you know, just those little things. And that's it, and that's why it's hard, because when you try to defend America, like when I'm back home and I'm like, hey, this, you know, it's actually not like that.
People like,
think,
like they say, oh, Americans are rich.
Yeah. I mean, it's the media, too.
Yeah, we still have, in Oregon, we still see homeless people where they, you know, they can't feed themselves. And I think...
Or people not going to college because it's so expensive,
Like, I think one of the, you know, advantages or, like, I don't know, good thing about, like, traveling to different places is trying to kind of break these kind of one-sided, like, single stories about a country or a region or a culture or a minority or a majority. I feel like it's a good start, but we still need to dig a little deeper and
I know. It's a lot of work has to be done about it.
Yeah.
It's just generalization is kind of the problem with it. Because
for me, I feel like generalizations are okay, but stereotypes, I feel like it's more negative.
Yeah, we're applying, I guess, stereotypes for the whole country, because Russia's big.
Yeah, I know.
And, I mean, we don't have a lot of people in it. Not as many. I mean, we have like 140 million as compared to America, which is like 340 or something. So, but we still have different people living in different regions, which have different mindsets. And I wouldn't say, I guess, it's not as diverse as America is. Like if you go to the U.S. and you see like the South, the West and Southeast, like these are all, and Midwest, they're different kind of cultures within. In Russia, it's not that crazy different, but it's still, if you go to the European part of Russia or southern part, people would be a little bit different still. And like it gets hot in Russia too. So that's one thing people don't understand. Whenever I say I'm from Siberia, they're like, oh wow. Are you like always cold or something? Yeah, and I say, it's like 90 degrees in the summer, and it's different. So, but I've gotten used to it. It's just something I don't know a lot of things about like Asian cultures, for example, or African cultures, and I feel so not ignorant, but that's just kind of how I feel sometimes. I feel like, oh wow, like I didn't do this research.
First, thing about Africa is like treating Africa as the whole continent as like kind of like one country.
Yeah, I mean some Americans don't think it's
I'm like, oh, there are different countries in Africa? Oh, that's weird.
Yeah. So yeah, it's just I am myself, like I don't want to sound hypocritical towards Americans because I myself don't know a lot about other places in the world. So
yeah, I think as we
it's all about being open-minded and just knowing that besides your country and your nation, and culture, there's others out there, even within your own community. Like even Eugene itself, like if you look at it, it's super diverse.
Yeah.
So.
Okay, we will get back soon after another song, so we'll take a short break. Hi, welcome back, KWVA. It's Friday, in case you didn't know.
Happy Friday.
I have to constantly repeat that. It's Friday. Okay.
So this song that just played, it's kind of it's interesting because it's a mix of like rap and kind of like Russian rock.
I think now all the music is like all fused.
Yeah, right.
Even in my ear.
But you can't really just have like one genre.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's about, so the title is Jag vill to London, which means I will go live in London. And it's kind of about leaving your country. And the rapper,
that sounds very familiar.
Yeah. Yeah, and he's kind of talking about it's time to change something, it's time for change, and to kind of explore and do new things. But yeah, it's kind of a cool song. But then it's funny because at the end, the rock singer or whatever, he says, like, who will need me in London? Like, why would I be even in there? Like, why would I go there? So there's some doubts in there, but still at the end he goes, yeah, I'll go. So yeah, it's interesting. I feel like everyone goes through those things, especially when you're an exchange student. You're doubting like, what am I even doing here? So yeah.
It's like the first year, especially like when you're in a foreign country, there's so many things to adjust.
Yep.
And you're like, why did I ever come here?
Yeah.
But yeah, you will get over that stage.
Yeah, no regrets.
Yeah. Okay, Stacy, what are you working on recently? Like, you working on a big project or?
Yeah, I am working on one right now. Well, I'm constantly working on my YouTube channel. I try to make time to edit videos, which takes a while. But in YouTube, it's just kind of my big ongoing project. But the one I'm working on specifically right now is for Creative Strat. It's for our class that I mentioned. We're kind of taking it to the next level because I like to play around with ideas and with designs and I mean, really, there's much more than design that goes into advertising. There's strategy and media and writing, everything. So yeah, so our prompt was to find a subculture in Eugene or anywhere and find a brand that can help them. It's kind of all about that. Advertising is usually about solving problems, so helping someone. That's one thing people don't normally think about when they think of advertising. And then connect that brand to the subculture and see how that will work. So
did you pick one?
Yeah, we chose male grooming or male styling as our subculture. So guys who groom themselves, who go to the barber, who go to the store and they pick clothes. They really care about their appearance.
There is, I think, in Congo. There's a small population of male like that. One of my classmates is doing her thesis on that. Like, they are from the slum area, but they spend all of their income for dressing and clothing. And it's really interesting. I forgot what it's like a huge movement in the history, like when people started.
Well, ours is super general. Like ours is not
kind
a
of
specific subculture. Like it's very broad actually. So it's just basically we're gearing it towards guys who are in college. Like our target audience is 18 to 25 years old, like Generation Y, like millennials. And so basically our slogan is don't settle for whatever. Because we notice that a lot of college guys are just like, I'm just going to put on this shirt, whatever, this is what I'm going to look like today. So, and it's really challenging because we're a group of 3, and all 3 people in the group are girls.
Oh, okay.
So we're way out of our comfort zone. I learned so much from this because we had this survey, we sent it out, and from the answers, I get so much insight on how guys think, and just what their opinion is about this. And it's been really kind of rewarding to work on this. And I'm the creative director for this project, but then we have a strategist and we have a PR person as well. But we're all kind of working together.
So what's the end of the end goal?
So we're making an app.
Oh.
Which is very hard because coding is hard. I'm taking an entry level coding class right now, but I'm working with my computer science professor, and he'll help me actually put it together because I said, you know what, I don't know anything about developing an app. Please help. But there, I mean, there's a lot of resources.
So
in the
what
J School
this
too.
app will do? Like
Yeah,
what
so it'll be
exactly
called
is
Dime. I should have mentioned the name before. We have a website too, so if anyone wants to kind of go check it out, it's 10dime.com, and Dime is spelled with a Y.
Oh.
Because you know, dime is associated. It's like it's a 10, like
Yeah.
as in
Yeah.
a coin.
Uh-huh.
And a 10 is this number, and it's like, oh, he's a 10, like he's super hot, you know.
Oh.
And we're trying to say, you know, 10 is not just about looks. It's about kind of what you do and how you present yourself. There are all kinds of things you can do without your looks, and you can be a 10 if you just want to, if you put an effort, if you don't settle for whatever, you know. So, be a 10 is our hashtag. Yeah, hashtag be a 10.
Ooh.
So, and yeah, and the app would, so basically the person, you know, does the registration, just, you know, their email, whatever name, and then they select who they are, like what their style is. Our research actually showed that 19% of the guys don't know what their style is, so maybe that will help them. But yeah, it'd be like hipster or athletic, whatever style they're going for.
But I mean, you're not just one type. I mean, I dress.
Oh yeah, I mean, you can select, but I think we're still kind of figuring out the logistics of it. The next step would be kind of ticking the boxes for the brands that you like, because brands can also determine your style in a way. And then based on that information, just on that, and you're in their age, they'll get just tailored, like personalized articles from like GQ.com or Esquire, like all those like male, you know, magazines or whatever. Because a lot of, I mean, our research kind of showed where people go for those, for advice. And I mean, having just one app with everything at once, for shoes, for hats, for clothing, for hair, without having to go to all these different websites would be really convenient. But yeah, it's been super exciting to work on it. We're filming. We did a lot of interviews. We went to the barbershop, and it was. I mean, we shot a commercial in there, and we had to do some PR. And we said, you know what, we're gonna bring a bunch of equipment in here and kind of occupy your shop for a little bit. And they said, okay, we'll rent it out. Like we'll have a slot, like a 2-hour.
I think I
slot.
should change my major.
Oh, I mean, advertising. Honestly, you get so much creativity. It's amazing. And that's why that's another, again, there's so many reasons why I chose it over Super J. So in journalism, there's these limits, like there's this specific rules you have to follow, like AP style is something you use for writing, or this is how you're supposed to interview, this is what a video interview looks like.
Kind of controlled and more kind of like
yeah,
traditional.
and you can be more bold with what you're doing with advertising, yeah, for sure.
Okay, we will still play one more song, and then we will come back shortly, so stay tuned. We have a lot more. So, Stacy, will you introduce the last two songs? I can try to say the Russian names, but I won't.
So the first one was by this kind of controversial Russian band called Leningrad.
Uh-huh.
So Leningrad is the old name for St. Petersburg.
Uh-huh.
And it's called exponat, which comes from the word expo, I guess.
Uh-huh.
I think it's a French word actually, but it means part of the exhibit.
Oh.
So
it does seem like an English word, the exhibit,
Yeah.
exit part.
And so, and the girl sings about kind of getting ready for, well, the music video is about her getting ready for a date at the museum.
Uh-huh.
And it's like a Van Gogh, like a, exhibit or something. And she said, well, at that exhibit, I'll be the prettiest part of it. Yeah, so it's kind of a play on words, and the music video is really a piece of art, honestly, like a work of art. It's really beautifully filmed. And it's really fun. It kind of shows like the Russian culture.
And I can see that from your like
Excitement.
doing all the doing all the adventurous work.
Yeah.
Yeah, we so I wonder like what's your dream agency in the future, like when you graduate?
Yeah. So we had this lady come in she did like a 2-day workshop in Allen Hall. Her name is Becca, and she works in LA at this agency called 72 and Sunny. And it was started by an Oregon alum. His name is Glenn Cole. So what they do, and they have Starbucks, they have Google as their accounts, Samsung, and a bunch of others like Coors Light. And those are, they do some great stuff. They're really creative with what they do.
So they came to like a class talk or like a
it was a weekend workshop. So we one of those Saturdays and Sundays was from 9 to 5. We were just talking about how an agency works, what you do, how about teamwork and stuff like that. So it's pretty great. I looked and I checked them out later, and I thought, wow, like I would love working for them. And the same I guess with another one called Wyden and Kennedy. It's up in Portland.
Oh, that's
but
all.
They have a lot of offices all over the world. Like 72 and Sunny, for example,
I've
has.
never heard of them.
Oh, no one ever hears about advertising agencies. Like, even if you go on Twitter, honestly, like, if people tweet about commercials, they mention the brand itself, but not the agency who did it, when I feel like it's kind of unfair, because everyone, like, it was the agency who came up with everything. The brand was just like, hey, help, like, we can't do this. So, yeah, but, Wyden Kennedy, Droga 5, a lot of agencies are in New York, but I feel like I would not want to live there.
I see.
I would rather do like the West Coast. So yeah.
Yeah, I think I also don't really like. I went there once and they're like, oh,
I was there for a little bit.
Yeah. So what's your like favorite? Do you have a favorite ad that like plays it maybe on?
So I really love this new Apple commercial. It's for iPad. It's about a kid with autism, and it really helped him because he's nonverbal. So at the end of the ad, he delivers like a commencement speech at his middle school, and he used an iPad to do that. So it's kind of crazy, and it just kind of makes you feels. So that kind of is the purpose of the whole idea of advertising, yeah. But I also like Find Your Magic by Axe, which is Axe is kind of this macho man brand, but they tailor their ad towards guys with insecurities, and how those insecurities can be turned into your little quirks and like your special little things.
Oh, that sounds fun. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, I should watch that. Okay, Stacy, thank you for coming today.
Thanks for having me.
And we had a great time, and hope you also had a great time. And
I did.
It's Friday. So you all have a nice weekend, and we will see each other next week around this time, noon. So, okay, have a nice weekend.